Continuing with the trend of reviewing westerns, I thought I may as well move on from John Wayne to Clint Eastwood, and his most famous film, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was a part of a series of films during the Western revival in the mid-60s. Beforehand, westerns had been in a slow decline, but Italian director Sergio Leone was able to revive the western for a short period of time with the so-called spaghetti western, more bloody, gritty, and violent than previous westerns. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is probably the best western ever made. It is a title that it holds on IMDb's top 250, ranking in at number 8. The third installment in Sergio Leone's Man with No Name trilogy, the film begins by introducing the three characters separately. The Ugly, Tuco, who has narrowly avoided 3 bounty hunters in a western ghost town, while further away, the Bad, Angel Eyes, is in an intense interrogation, in a scene that is similar to the beginning of Inglourious Basterds. He interrogates the person about Jackson, or Bill Carson as he calls himself, about some stolen gold, before killing him and his older son. The film then moves on to Tuco, who is rescued by the good, Clint Eastwood, who sets up a deal with Tuco in which he hands Tuco into the authorities so that they can collect a bounty, and just before Tuco is to be hung, his rope is to be shot so that they can repeat the cycle over again. This however does not last, and Eastwood cuts his ties with Tuco. But Tuco vows revenge and catches up with Eastwood, later on forcing him to go without food and water through a desolate desert for 100 miles. But just as Eastwood is about to give up, they bump into Bill Carson. Bloody and dying, Carson informs Tuco about the graveyard in which his gold is buried in, but asks for water. Tuco runs to get it for him, but by the time he returns, Carson is dead. Eastwood, however, has learnt the name of the tombstone where the gold is buried, forcing Tuco to help save Eastwood. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly from this point on focuses on the ugly and the good trying to get to the cemetery to try and retrieve the gold worth $200,000. And the inconveniences that they often face during the journey, such as being taken in as prisoners of war and followed by Angel Eyes, are two notable problems. The film concludes with the typical final showdown between the three of them, but I personally consider it to be the best western showdown, because unlike Rio Bravo, where you have the sheriff go up against the bandits, this is a three-way shootout with 3 people, and with the use of close-ups often used throughout the film, this helps raise the tension and suspense during these final moments. The story of the film is a great story with many details and complexities throughout it, a story of vengeance, friendship, forgiveness, and cowardice. Leone did a great job with his camera work in this film, with several uses of close-ups and long shots, such as when we are first introduced to Eastwood in the film. We see his back and his towering figure before we see his face. Having taken down the rival bounty hunters, it is able to establish his dominance and figure from the very start. The film's real strong point is the acting. All the actors are superb as their characters, such as Eastwood, who was fantastic as the Man with No Name, or Blondie, as Tuco likes to call him, a very dominant, intelligent, but likeable character. Eli Wallach was also great as the angry, ugly, and dangerous Tuco, the Mexican bandit, who also serves as a bit of comical relief throughout the film, and of course Lee Van Cleef as Angel Eyes, the formidable, dangerous, and very stern opponent, who does not fear brutality as a means of getting what he wants, brutalizing Tuco, and when he gets paid, he always goes through with his work. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly also contains one of the best western soundtracks of all time, a highly memorable score that plays to the tune of the 3 characters, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, such as when Tuco has the rope around Eastwood's neck. He's about to shoot the legs off the chair, but suddenly, because the film is set during the Civil War, a cannon blasts the building and allows for him to escape. Same goes when Tuco catches up with Eastwood. Eastwood is doing the same thing that he did with Tuco, raising the bounty by shooting the rope off. But Tuco prevents this, and he dies. Moments like this kind of hurt the film, not really, because it's more of a nitpick that can be overlooked, but it is very good timing and is a bit annoying. Overall, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly is a great western with great acting, a memorable soundtrack, and a great story. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly is most certainly not ugly, and is definitely not bad. In fact, it's better than good. It's great. An A+. Thanks guys, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more.